How's it going, guys? It's your boy Fox back at it with another Marvel Rivals video. Alright, so today I want to talk about why healing is not easy in Marvel Rivals. Look, if you thought healing was a simplistic role where all you gotta do is just heal your teammates and that's it, then you're playing the wrong game, my friend. There's more to healing than just healing in Marvel Rivals, and it's not easy. It's the most difficult thing you'll ever do in your life, because you're not only healing, you're saving. Not just that, you might have to be doing the DPS's job, which is getting those kills. Look, if you want to win, then you gotta do it all. So yeah, you decide to be a healer, but you also signed up to win, because without the healers, then there's no game in the first place. And you know what else? You guys ain't winning. It's already tough enough where everyone hard locks DPS in your rank matches or quick matches. It doesn't matter, because almost everyone hard locks DPS, but they suck. And someone has to be a healer, and that someone is you. You want to be DPS, you want to be tank, and you thrive best as a tank, but you gotta be a healer. And also, you gotta put up with morons too. It's not easy, but someone's gotta do it. And as you go higher and higher in your rank matches, from silver to gold to diamond to grandmaster, and if you're really good, all the way up to one above all, healing is not that easy as you think it is. And here are the reasons why. High expectations. Alright, you have the easiest role, yet you're given a lot of expectations to perform. And that performance is based on how good you are as a healer. It's one thing to survive in your matches, but you won't get anywhere if you're just surviving. You won't get anywhere if you're just killing, because your main role is to heal. Yeah, your character like Rocket or Jeff can help your DPS out by wiping out the team, but remember this, your main role is a healer, not a DPS or a tank. Always remember that, because if you're not healing, then what are you doing? And your team will definitely remind you to freaking heal, or where the heals are at, or why aren't you healing the tanks, or why aren't you healing the DPS, or why aren't you healing at all? You have a lot of high expectations. No one cares. Look, I don't care if you had a bad day at school or at work, because remember this, you're the healer in this game. And remember, if you're not healing, then what are you doing? Sure, you could be in a bad mood, but no one cares how you're feeling. No one cares if you're sad, and no one cares if you're mad. They only care if you're healing. Then your team will listen to you. Your team only cares if you're giving them the heals. Sadly, it's like you're the dog owner, and your dog only cares about you if you're feeding him. Because if you're not feeding your dog, then your dog doesn't care about you. And that's how healing works. You gotta give your team the heals so they care about you. And the more you figure this out and understand this route, you'll understand the game. And even if you're arguing with the DPS on how that DPS should switch out, like a Spider-Man going 0-7 or 0-10, and you're trying to tell the Spider-Man that you're just not good at Spider-Man and you should switch, no one cares what you gotta say, sadly. All they care is you healing. No help. Listen, it's one thing to be a DPS and tank and get help from your support. Hence, they're called the support and you're the tank or the DPS. But since you're the healer, don't be surprised for receiving zero help. No one's gonna help you, because all you're there for is to help your team out. You're there to help them out, not to help yourself out. Sadly, it's a selfish world that we live in, but that's the reality of what this is. You need to understand the fact that the moment you signed up to be a healer, all you're there for is you being the giver, and your team are the takers. They're taking all the heals you can give, and they're giving nothing back to you. All they're giving you is a bunch of criticism and toxic banter in the voice chat, and that's all you're gonna get. And if that's not the case, all the toxicity will be within the text chat. Not enough healers. We already know that when you play a game like Marvel Rivals, there needs to be a minimum of 2 healers, and I don't want to hear you guys telling me, oh, I could play good games with only 1 healer, and I'm sure you can, but as you go up the ranks in your rank matches, the games are gonna get a whole lot tougher, and you're gonna quickly realize that 2 healers are the bare minimum that you're gonna need. Actually, it's all you need. It's the perfect balance, but some people don't understand that. They think, there's only 1 healer. What can possibly go wrong? A lot of things can go wrong. There needs to be at least 2 healers. If there's a 3rd healer, that's a little bit of a stretch, but now there's more emphasis on the DPS to frickin' perform, and definitely on the tanks. Tanks should not be complaining if you get 3 healers, and if there's 2 healers, then DPS should definitely not be complaining, because the heals are coming their way. Now the DPS gotta get those kills. If you want to win, there needs to be enough healers. This is science. So if you see that there's 1 healer in the team, and you, the person watching this video, know that you can be the 2nd healer, maybe you should be the 2nd healer. You gotta ask yourself this: do you want to win, or do you only just want to play DPS? Because if you just want to be DPS, then don't be surprised surprised if you lose. But if you want to win, then it's time for you to be the second healer. Because at the end of the day, a win is a win, right? Some people view it this way, but others, they don't. They just want a hard lock DPS, which is fine. But if you lose, I don't want to hear any complaining from you. Everyone wants to be DPS. Some people want to be tanks, and no one wants to be a healer. I don't know why this happens to this day, but that's what it is. What is so bad about being a healer in Marvel Rivals? I think you got an easy get going if you're playing as Rocket. You're chilling. You're just spamming the heals, and you're just chilling at the back. And of course, you got a good skill where someone can quickly be revived by your powers because you're Rocket getting targeted. Now, if I told you all you got to do is just focus on healing your team, then you are sorely mistaken, my friend. The thing is, let's say you're the only healer. What do you think is going to happen next? You're going to be heavily targeted by the other team's DPS. If you're the only healer, you're the main objective for the other team because without you, there is no team. And do you really think your team gives a shit about that? No. All they care about is their heals. That's it. They're not going to protect you because you got to protect yourself because you're the healer, right? You can always heal yourself. Doesn't work like that because if a Spider-Man just surprises you, you're done. And also, do you really think Jeff, the land shark, can carry the other people, the 5 other people in the team? He's a good healer, but I don't think Jeff is a great healer. But that's just my personal opinion. I could say the same thing about Rocket. Rocket is a great healer, but I don't think he should be the only healer in the team. And even if you do have a second healer in the team, let's say you're playing as Cloak and Dagger and the other person is playing as Invisible Woman, that's not a bad combo. Both those healers got great ults, but remember, you guys are the healers and you're the main objective for the other team. The other team knows that without you guys, there is no team. So you got to make sure to survive. You got to heal and survive and also help the DPS out by killing the other team. So you got like 3 jobs and your team members, they just got 1 job. You're not as good as you think you are. Alright, so maybe you're someone who always plays DPS and tank in Marvel Rivals. You think you're top shit in this game and you decide to be a healer. Why? It just happens to be that way. And the moment you opt for healer, like you decide to play Cloak and Dagger for the first time, maybe you want to play Jeff for the first time, it doesn't matter. This is your first time playing healer or playing healer in a while. And now you're the healer or the second healer and you're getting decimated by the other team. You just can't stand the fact that you can't last more than 60 seconds when you're playing as Invisible Woman. I don't know why, but that's the case. You're gonna get a reality check of you knowing that you are not as good as you think you are and you need to practice a lot more as a healer, and you hate that. You hate the fact that there's so much expectation for you as a healer to not only manage the idiots called your team, but also help the idiots called your team. You now know what it's like to receive the harsh criticism by your own team members. You used to think the healers don't know what they're talking about when they're struggling to survive in ranked matches, but now you're the healer and you're the one struggling to survive. Boy, does that suck. Someone took your main. Okay, so maybe you are experienced as a healer, but the only healer you play is probably Cloak and Dagger, and someone took that role. Now what do? You decide to play another healer. Now to me, in this situation, I always play a minimum of 2 to 3 characters in each role. So if someone takes my character or if the team bans the character, I'll always have a character to help the team out. So let's say right here you are great as Cloak and Dagger. I highly doubt Cloak and Dagger gets banned in ranked matches, but let's say that's the case. Or someone in your team opt for Cloak and Dagger before you, and you're stuck with another healer. I don't think it's a bad thing being Rocket or Jeff or Invisible Woman. Either or is fine. The thing is, you can't be a one-trick pony when you're a healer because you could be okay as a DPS and tank because the healers got your back. But if you're a decent healer, it's gonna show if those clutch heals are really clutch heals, because what makes a DPS really great and a tank really great are the healers behind those characters. It's one thing to be great with one character, but can you be great with 2 characters? That's up to you to figure out. And also, add some variety into the game. Why always go for the same character? Learn someone new for once. You did your part. This is one of the many positives of being a healer is all about in Marvel Rivals. When you're the healer, by default, you did your part because someone's gotta be a healer in this game. And if there's no healer, there's no game in the first place. So you did your part by being a healer. Now, if no one wants to be the second healer, well, you can't really say this is your fault, even if you are a decent healer, because at least you showed the team you decided to be a healer. You showed to the others, the 5 others in your team, that you're willing to change characters for the sake of the team. Unfortunately, not everyone sees the game like you, and of course, they're just gonna hard lock tank and DPS, leaving you the only healer to support the team throughout the entire game. Now, whether you guys win or lose, it doesn't matter, because you decided to be a healer for the greater good, and you can finally say you did your part in this game, even though you guys lost anyway. And for those who are healer mains out there in Marvel Rivals, keep on doing your thing, because without you guys, there's no game in the first place. And remember, through every great victory comes a great healer.